store-bought tomatoes are not bred for flavor. They're bred for shelf life and pest resistance. And pest resistance is not delicious.
Hi, welcome to Lilies and Tomatoes, your go-to place for simple and practical tips and tricks on how to start a garden all the way through how to use what you grow. This is from my live class that I teach on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on Facebook. If you'd like to attend the live class or ask me a question, check out the link in the description.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my basement workshop. Today we're talking about tomatoes. I love tomatoes. They're my favorite. So for the month of June, we're going to be doing a tomato grow along, and we'll be getting into all things growing tomatoes. If we have not met yet, my name is Quincey Adams, and I want to help you grow some of your own food in a small space on a budget. Okay, so there's a lot. Growing tomatoes is there's a lot. I don't want to say it's complicated, but there's a lot of planning that you need to do before you get into tomatoes. So I'm just going to tell you the topics we're going to be covering over the course of the month. Not anything super in-depth or scary, just like an overview, like the minimum you need to know in order to get growing. And if you want to join the challenge, the link is in the description, and there will be handouts and prizes. Okay, so the topics we're going to be covering over the course of this tomato grow along challenge. Why you should grow your own tomatoes, properties of tomatoes, what you need to grow tomatoes, how to select seeds, how to select seedlings, how to plant them, how to water them, what kind of nutrition they need, how to prune them, what kind of problems you normally get with tomatoes, including pests, topping up tomatoes, harvesting tomatoes, propagating tomatoes, and storing tomatoes. So that's like A to Z, everything, the basics that you're going to need to know to grow tomatoes. But first I want to talk to you about why you should grow your own tomatoes. Because they're super nutritious, that's why. Just kidding, there's a little bit more to it than that. Okay. So tomatoes have, I'm looking at my notes right now. They've got phytonutrients, lycopene, and anthocyanins. These are antioxidants. They help with heart health and act as a cancer preventative. But tomatoes also have lots of vitamin C and potassium and help your immune system. And they help with diabetes and all kinds of other diseases. So that's why you should be eating tomatoes if you're not already eating tomatoes. And if you have been buying tomatoes at the grocery store, you've probably noticed that they don't have a whole lot of flavor. And they tend to be mushy. And if you're putting your tomatoes in the refrigerator, stop. Fresh tomatoes do not go in the refrigerator ever. Okay, so tomatoes are fantastic. They have all these great properties. But they are also known to be part of the dirty dozen. So if you're buying them from the store, even if they're organic, they're probably filthy and covered in pesticides. Also, just a little note, over the years, commercial farmers have definitely bred their fruits and vegetables to have a long shelf life, to have a certain color, to be pest resistant. They're not bred for flavor. So if you think you don't like the taste of tomatoes, I definitely recommend you try growing some of your own. Tomatoes can be sweet or they can be savory. Depends on what kind of tomato you get. They come in all kinds of cool colors. They can be green, they can be yellow, orange, pink, purple, blue, black, all kinds of colors. These are things you're not going to find in the grocery store. So if you're on the fence about tomatoes, I definitely recommend looking into some heirloom varieties because they're bred for flavor and they are definitely just a lot more interesting than what you can find in the grocery store. A note about nightshades. Tomatoes are in a family of plants considered to be nightshades. Those are tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplants. And I did some research into that because some people don't want to eat tomatoes because they supposedly cause an immune response, an inflammation. And when I looked into it briefly, I'm obviously not a doctor or an immunologist or anything like that, but that evidence was anecdotal. There wasn't a lot of scientific studies to back that up. And some of the studies said, oh, well,
some of these vegetables and fruits are cause inflammation, other ones prevent inflammation. So I'm going to assume, and that's caused by, it's an alkaloid called solanine, and solanine is a it's a bitter alkaloid that is a natural pest repellent for the plants. So back to my comment about commercial farmers growing plants to be pest resistant and have a long shelf life, and what was it? Long shelf life, pest resistant, and have certain colors. I would definitely think that it's not gonna. You should try growing a tomato of your own, like a homegrown tomato that's a heirloom variety, and see if you have a different result with that. And also the articles that I read about nightshades suggested that you try cooking them first. I would also say, just as just my guess, because I'm not a doctor, that if you ferment them, that would have the same, accomplish the same thing as cooking them. So you can make fermented salsa. You can ferment almost anything, but fermenting it would definitely give you additional health benefits over just the regular tomatoes on their own. So that is my my ramble for today. I'm going to tell you what you need to grow a tomato in a container, and then next week we will talk about how you choose which type of tomato is best for your growing area. So we'll talk about whether or not you should start from seed or get a seedling. Here's a sneak peek. I recommend both if you've got the space and the time. And then we'll talk about planting them and watering them. But bare minimum to grow a thriving tomato plant in a container, you need a large enough container that will hold 5 gallons of soil and a tomato. So 5 gallons of soil is going to be a container that is at least 12 inches across the top. So if you're looking at a regular, oh, they're all outside. Oh, hold on 1 second. All right, so this is a 2.5 quart container, but normally a regular container that you buy in the store is going to be a little bit bigger at the top than it is at the bottom, or a lot bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. So you want something that is at least 12 inches across the top. 15 is better if you're just going by the size of the planter. If it tells you the capacity of the planter, you want something that's at least 5 gallons. So 5 gallons of soil, and you want to, if you're going to splurge on anything, splurge on the soil. Quality soil is really key for the nutritional elements that tomatoes need to get out of the soil. But other than that, you can do it in a really budget-friendly way. So that's my recap for today. Tomatoes are very, very healthy and have a lot of good health benefits. They are members of the Dirty Dozen, so you should be growing your own. Store-bought tomatoes are not bred for flavor. They're bred for shelf life and pest resistance. And pest resistance is not delicious. And if you are sensitive to nightshades, try growing your own or cooking it before you eat it, because that could make a difference in the reaction you have to tomatoes. If there are, I don't see any questions on here right now, but I will put out some more information over the things we're going to go over the coming weeks. That's going to be selecting your seeds, selecting seedlings, planting them, watering them, the nutritional needs of the tomato plants, pruning them, problems, diseases, pests, topping them off, harvesting, storing, and propagating. So I cannot wait for June. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about tomatoes, which are one of my favorite things to grow. And hopefully we will get you guys off to a great start growing tomatoes. And in the group, you can post your pictures of your tomatoes and ask me questions about how things are going with your particular tomatoes. So there'll be more details about that coming soon. And I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.